Hey folks, Glenn May here with BassResource.com, and I'm here at the 2015 ICAST with none other than Jason Christie. Look who I found here at the Booyah booth. We want to take a look at some of the brand new stuff that's coming out. What do we got here?
Well, this is the new line of Booyah. Some of the baits that we've added. First of all, we've added 3 colors in the pad crasher and the poppin' pad crasher. You know, these are some of the colors through feedback from anglers and feedback from the pros that we had to have in the line. You know, a black, a brown, and a shad color. This is going to be cool. You know, for the line. I think this kind of completes the color process. You know, there's no other colors that we need. I've been asking for brown, and I know other guys have asked for a black, you know, specifically. So this is what we came up with. And then we've actually added a new jig. It's the finance jig. It's a round ball jig, and we've done it in 3 sizes, a 3/8, a half, and a 3/4. And people would ask, well, why would you add a 3/4 ounce round ball? This is for like ledge fishing, deep water, cold water fishing, maybe some pressured fish. You know, it's just a really versatile jig. That's why we named it the finance jig. This is a jig that's going to put a lot of fish in the boat, whether it be pressured, clear water fish, and we made it available in the sizes, you know, pretty diverse sizes and fish catching colors. One thing we did this year, the pros, we kind of picked 3 or 4 colors a piece. And these are the colors that we use. There's no colors in the line that, you know, are just filler colors. These are all fish catching colors.
And so this is for much slower presentations then.
Yeah, this is a finance jig, and I'm going to throw this cold water, clear water, pressured fish. Those would be the 3 situations that I would throw the finance jig. And then we have the bankroll jig. This is going to be a flipping jig. You know, this is a jig that we put a really cool hook in it. You know, it's kind of that medium grade, stiff enough for a 8-pounder, but light enough that you don't need a monster hook set to get it in a fish. And we're all about being weedless. I wanted a jig that I could flip into a buckbush and not get hung up. You know, a lot of us in the past have flipped plastics in bushes because you just couldn't hardly get a jig in and out. This is a jig that I can get in a buckbush, I can get in a lay down and not get hung up. You know, it's with the head design, and we did the color thing again, you know, where they're fish catching colors, along with the angle of the weed guard and the size of the hook has made this jig a really weedless jig, and that's the bankroll jig.
So that's like a braided line type?
Well, it doesn't have to be braided, but I wouldn't be scared to use braided line on it. You know, this is a flipping jig. This is a jig that I'm going to target, you know, isolated cover and try to pick off, you know, those big fish. This is a jig. I mean, this is something that I would use. I'm a flipper, so this is something that I would use.
So you're not going to bend the hook out on the hook set on these babies?
No, it's plenty good hook. And then we have the one knocker series that actually has been added in the Booyah line. You know, this is a rattle bait that's been around for a few years, and it's a fish catcher. You know, especially in the early spring, pre-spawn. But you know, I've learned to use it on the ledges. You know, we've put that in the Booyah brand now, and what we did was we've added some new colors. You know, some translucent colors. We've kept around, you know, the ones that I've always caught fish, your Rayburn Reds, your crawdad colors. But we've added some new shad, you know, some colors that I wanted. Everybody picked 2 or 3 colors and added to the line. But it's, you know, they out of the package, they have good hooks. We have the one knocker series, and then we have the rattling series. And
what are the weight sizes that they come in?
Well, quarter, half, 3/4, and an ounce. It's pretty versatile, and it all depends on the fish that I'm targeting. You know, if I want bigger fish, you know, I'm gonna go with a bigger bait. If I'm fishing pressured fish, I may go to a smaller bait. It gives you options, and as fishermen, that's what we want is options. You know, we have changing conditions, so we want to be able to change baits. And then lastly, we have the popper bait. This is a bait that's been put in the Booyah line. The Boss Pop, you know, Zell Rowland, the famous topwater guy, you know, he was in part of designing that bait. And I'll just say this, I used to carry a lot of poppers, and now I carry this popper only, just a few different colors. It just has the right action. I can fish the bait really, really fast. I can fish it slow, in between. I'm a fast kind of guy, so, you know, it's just, and then we did the color thing. You know, we added a few colors and colors that the consumers wanted and colors that the pros wanted, and that's where the Booyah line has come from.
You use different colors, the top water for, say, clear water versus dingy water, or cold versus warm, and what's your preference?
You know, you said it right. It depends on the water clarity and the forage that they're feeding on, and water temperature and all that stuff. You know, I like a translucent one. This one here is probably actually my favorite. You know, kind of a see-through. When it's translucent, they just don't get a good look at it, meaning that you trick them. That's all about tricking bass, and that's why I tend to kind of go on the clears. And, you know, the more stained it gets, the more I go to a painted body, a solid color. And I think that's pretty much a rule across the board. Poppers, cranks, spinnerbaits, anything. It's all about whenever you try to pick colors, first of all, you want to try to trick them. So clear water, you got to go with things that look real. And then dirty water, you have to go to colors that the fish can actually see and pick up, because they're not visual feeders in dirty water.
Now, when will these baits become available for the public?
Very soon. Some of the baits, I know the one knockers already are. And the colors of the frogs, I think day by day. I mean, I really think by the time this interview airs, I think that they will be available.
Fantastic. The brand new Booyah baits, you guys got to check them out. They're fish catchers.